done, and then I can go back in and say, you don't get credit for it because you didn't participate. Do it nicely. Like I say, number one, make sure that they're okay. Express that you're concerned because you were trying to get it done. And then the group said by whatever, I think 9 a.m. tomorrow sounds more than reasonable. Maybe not, no, it's due tomorrow. No, not 9 p.m. tonight sounds reasonable. It's due tomorrow. So you all would need the time to be able to step in and finish it. Hopefully it's not going to get today. So I've never actually had to fire a group member. Hoping it doesn't.
Okay, so I don't know what's appropriate and what's not for like asking you for advice.
Yeah, do whatever you want to ask. I'm not going to grade your stuff, meaning, just say, can you look this over? And if you have specific questions, you can ask me whatever you want.
So when it comes to the thesis and relevant statement, I remember you saying, so let me just remind you, our product are the MetroNaps sleep energy pods, and it's basically we're trying to implement it in a way where our thesis says to our fellow, my fellow teammates and I, we're going to find a solution for constant grogginess that affects college students with the use of MetroNaps energy pods. We're also going to establish that being tired is a common problem, so we're facing the problem, we're trying to solve it with these sleep pods, such as MetroNaps, the company, and by the end of the speech, we're going to be letting you all sign a petition to institute these sleep pods in the school system, and
so that what?
So that consumers can feel more rested, and those who can have a break between classes and feel safe in a peaceful place to rest.
Perfect.
Right. And we also want to write, this will also result in greater focus in classes and better grades for all of us.
Perfect.
Should I mention that? If we're, see, the persuasion is really complicating me. I don't know how to bring it back
The
to
third
that.
main point, is that what you mean?
The second and the third.
The second is not persuasion, the second is branding. It starts to be gray space because branding is connecting emotional appeals to it, but they're not directly telling you what to do through branding. They're just trying to get you to like them because of their branding. So that's why I call it gray space. It's not informational, it's not pure persuasion.
Yeah.
The third example is pure persuasion, where you are actually talking about how the company, or you're building an ad for the company, how they are using honest persuasion techniques to make us buy.
So we have two types of persuasion: emotional appeal
I got no
and
problem.
the
I had it
science
for 4 years.
principles
No problem.
of persuasion. And that's where we're a little confused because this is how our main point one goes. Main point one is the features and benefits, which is the gray space,
You have
unfortunately.
two of those, correct?
What do you mean?
You have two features and two benefits, right? I'm just
Yes.
checking. Good. And you're doing
think
feature
even more
one
than that.
and benefit one, and then feature two and benefit two. That's how you're doing it, right? You're not presenting all features and then all benefits.
It's all features and all benefits.
It's better sales-wise. Technically, rubric-wise, you're checking the rubric on it,
It's
but
just
it
that
makes
Claire
better
has
to go.
already videotaped herself, and there is no changing it.
Yeah, that's that.
That's why I'm asking, maybe we can add to that. The second point is, she's going to say, after listening to these features and benefits that both are convenient and customizable to each student, Serene and Rose will now talk about the
Nice.
brand MetroNaps and some of the brand's emotional appeals in this advertisements and images.
So now we're in main point two.
Yes, which is the brand itself. So this is how we're kind of doing it. She's talking a little bit about the brand through emotional appeal, and I'm talking a little bit of the brand through persuasion, because that's what you have told us before.
Are you main point three or you main point two?
I'm main point three. I'm talking about the persuasion tactics.
I don't get
She's talking
new
about
models.
emotional appeal.
When they first come out,
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, you're
when they
okay,
start
let me
working
see.
out the kinks, like the same style, but working out the kinks, then I buy it. But like other than that, like
They're using,
I had-
okay, yeah, so what
I
she's
know
doing
my
is she's
godmother,
talking about
she
the
took care of
brand.
her car, she
The
took
brand
care of
is using
every
darker
little small
colors.
thing. All the parts in there were brand new.
And they're doing
so
a-
I was good.
okay, that
So
works,
mine
yeah.
is
But
2002.
she's
I found
also
out 2002
connecting
was pretty
it
good.
to
We
the
don't have
warmth
any problems.
appeal.
I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
about
okay.
Because that's the only thing, but it's weird because
That's not
warm
exactly
colors,
what I was asking you to do. I was asking for the emotional appeals or the Cialdini 6 principles in main point 3. What I was asking you to do was just tell me information about
okay.
the
You're
brand
doing good.
itself.
You're doing good.
Because brand connects. Brands
Not
are
that
trying to
often.
get you to
Not that
like
often.
them.
No, but I
Brands
don't need that. I don't need that
typically,
often.
very
Yeah.
few brands try to capture everybody.
that's
Pepsi's the
what she
choice
does.
of a new generation. So yeah, she did actually use a warmth appeal.
Toyota's- they
She
last
didn't
a
have to
good
say
time.
that in that point, but it's fine that she does. All she needs to be talking about is the colors that they use on their website, the logo
Nah,
from
yours-
Minnesota,
yours should be good.
maybe the mission
2005,
statement of
bro.
the brand. That's what
Nah, because
give us
yours-
some background
yours is the
information about the
same-
brand.
yours is in
But
the same
what she
model
did is
as
okay
mine.
there too.
Yours in the same.
She took it
they
one step.
changed
So then
Mine
you
is
go into
2002.
8.3.
Yeah, same body style. So that means they changed.
Okay,
it
so
should be a lot better. Yours
well,
is
as you were
this, right?
describing it, she goes for
Yeah,
more
mine
of
is-
how it's
look how
making
mine
us
look, I'm
feel,
sure.
the modern, clean look, also the egg-shaped the product itself
Yeah,
is
look.
egg-shaped, very
Mine's
motherly,
2002,
very
mine is
nurturing, very
earlier. So
welcoming.
mine is good. Yours should
Um,
be great.
Then
different things.
she also says like on their website.
Everything's just going
That's
in
a little
time.
messy here.
Sus right
Um,
now.
She also wanted to type in integration.
Yeah.
Ingratiation.
Ingratiation, yeah, ingratiation.
Yep, flattery.
Yeah, flattery.
Their website
Yeah.
images.
Yeah.
Which that means
Today,
Like, we're gonna take a screenshot of the website
I'm
itself,
stopping
show it to the
traffic.
class.
I'm running, stopping traffic. He sees me smiling.
I'm not sure
Yo, I was
how
like, nah,
what
stop
this
playing,
is saying.
really?
That's not
And he just
ingratiation.
dipped. I was like, no, you didn't.
So that's the
Ingratiation
problem. We
is
don't
flattery.
have that much from their website because they really are trying to go
Take
for
this
a
out, you don't
luxury.
need it.
Take
Well,
it
that
out?
say what you're just gonna say. They're really trying to go for a.
Yeah.
A simple, to the luxury brands.
How do you know that?
Because they're already their clients. That's what I'm talking about. The persuasion of the principle of likable. Liking is one of the principles that we're using, which connects to their clients page. They have a blog personally on the clients such as Google, Samsung, and NASA. Which, see, me and her.
Yeah, you're
clicking-
blending.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're blending,
Yes.
which is not bad because I can connect
Correct.
to her after.
Correct. So what you so just say to me that they're using they're there's a more luxury brand. This is evident from taking a look at their website. So then she shows us through the website. Look at the colors, look at the pictures, look at the style of the logo, and then some of their clients, which Sharif's going to talk about, is actually one of their persuasive appeals that they use to sell the product. Ingratiation is flattery. So we would say like smart people only use a blah 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 nap pod. You're flattering people.
And especially because like the way I work,
Sexy people
I
drink,
get,
but like
constant hours.
so you just flattered
So
somebody.
the
That's what
Twitter
ingratiation. None of this
I
makes
have
sense.
no
That would be a
problem.
deduction because you don't. This person doesn't understand what ingratiation really means because that doesn't demonstrate ingratiation. The first one does a warmth appeal. That's correct.
Also, since we're always talking
I should be
about
complaining about my. I have no problem.
the emotional appeals, it's only going back to workplaces. We've been doing a lot of research. It's only been talked about on the news, which is
But
what
I love
also we're
Grand
thinking of
Cherokee.
implementing.
I love the
Just a
rugged
snippet
look.
of the
And
news
especially the
saying,
SRT.
hey, look at what the students are saying, the high school students.
Okay.
They're already, these sleep pods are already implemented in some colleges and
I
universities.
like the older ones
But
'cause they
there are
have a more
no
rugged look.
actual
'Cause a lot of these
research
new
done
Grand Cherokees, they
on
look
how
kinda soft
productive
now,
it
too,
really
you know?
is,
But I like that
what the
one
reviews are
Grand Cherokee I
saying.
like.
It's a new product.
It's a new product, so we can,
SRT.
the general gist, we can talk about what the news is talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. The news
Yeah,
because we assume that if it appears on the news and the news gives it a good rating, then it's good. That's an authority, an appeal to authority.
Authority, right? I was just gonna mention that. So you answered my question for there. Also, when it comes to transitional things, I know that you said every single time we go to a new main point, we have to recap. Can I recap by saying like, thank you, Rose, so we see the power of emotions that can affect a consumer's decisions, and now let me inform you on some science principles of persuasion
Yes, lovely.
that are factors that make us say yes.
Lovely. Yep.
But you're not telling you to recap the thesis, right?
The thesis all the way back in the very beginning.
Yeah.
No, because you're just going from main point 1 to main point 2.
Okay.
Where you recap the thesis is in the conclusion because you're going to
Conclusion.
present your 3 summary statements for each of the main points
Oh, for real?
that are evidence that
This is the
prove
air,
the
right?
thesis. So you recap
Wait,
the
this is the
thesis
air,
by
right?
presenting those 3 summary
I see.
sentences.
I see.
See, my mom has
And
my mom has the air.
also, since I thought mine was a bit bland for if I choose liking
My mom
or
has the air,
authority,
but she has a
one or the
port,
other,
though.
I'm trying to make a not
She has
that much
an old
time,
one, though.
short, brief, straight to the
It has a
point.
port.
I also wanted to persuade the class by showing them a soundtrack that we have found online for an example of what are the sleep rhythms and sounds that special neurologists have put together.
And is that part of the pod?
Yeah.
It is part of the pod, yes.
Okay, so you're
You know
gonna
about
use a
that?
sample of what it would be.
Yeah,
They said there's an
sample.
email.
I don't want them to fall asleep though, so I don't know when I can show them that video of the sound track.
Wait, you talking about for Apple?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got free fees.
No, but you could do it anytime.
That would either be in number
It's
one
anytime.
because it's
Not
a
in the spring.
feature.
Not in the spring.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
feature.
through
It's
Apple?
a feature.
Or you
If
talking
you do
about-
it like
is there
that, it's a
something that
feature, right? Because
essential?
that's a sound that they play in the pod to help you sleep, correct? So then you would
Right,
talk about the
right,
benefit.
right.
You play a brief clip, 5-10 seconds. And then you would say the benefit
I know it's a
is
certain
when you
time. I
actually
know it's
play
any
this
time,
for a long
right? I
didn't
period
know
of
that.
time, it helps you relax and the class you're like, oh, that was really nice. And even though Claire already videotaped, when Claire's done, one of you could easily say, we're going to add one more feature onto
that's
that, which
great.
is the soundtrack. It's fine.
Add
It's
on
a
to
team
Claire.
effort.
But to be
Yeah.
honest,
Before we move into the main
That's
point
not
two,
bad,
or I
considering
think you could
Grandma's
use it.
already having that. That's a
I
that's
think you
better
could
than a-
put it into the
Yes.
third one, which is persuasion.
That's what I was thinking, and then connecting it to our Q&A.
That should last
Feel
longer
like,
than
tell
that. My friends
me,
last
from
15
your
years.
perspective, was that something that you would like to hear
Yeah.
in the
The amount of
universities?
hardware you
If
put
we
on
were to
this
implement
should
these
last
sleep
15
pods,
years.
is there a different track? Maybe we can
No,
Yeah.
reach out to them
Yeah.
and say, hey, we're starting to get reviews from
Now,
people who don't
I-
even have your product.
Yes, you could. I think you could actually make it part of main point 3 if you wanted to,
Yeah,
and
but
you could. I presented a handful of emotional appeals. There's a lot. I think you could make an argument that there's an appeal to relaxation,
I have 2,000.
Connecting it to what?
to relax, an emotional appeal.
Oh, an
feeling
emotional appeal.
relaxed.
I see.
So by having this music, it's part of the persuasive appeal that's going to help sell the product. Because if you get to test it, that's the whole reason they have it on their website is they want you to hear it. And then if you hear it, you're like, oh my god, inside of a pod, but dark. It sounds like heaven. It's like a little teaser, right? It makes you want to. Could be pre-giving. That was one of the. Did I teach you about pre-giving? I may not have. Pre-giving is a persuasive tactic that is when we give samples. Let me double check to
So
see.
I'm using, this is how, I don't know how to source it, because I'm using the Principles of Persuasion from Robert B.
Cialdini, that's the video I gave you on the announcement.
Well, it's actually what I research as well online.
this is the
When I type in the 6
Air Pro?
Principles of
Oh yeah,
Persuasion,
that's his
this is
stuff.
the first thing that pops
That's his
up.
stuff. He owns it.
Dang.
Yeah, so I took it from one of his books,
Oh,
The
now, you see,
Psychology of
that's why I don't like
Influence
I
of
see what you're saying,
Persuasion.
the port. I rather the port.
And,
Because my mom
um,
has an Air and she has.
That's how I was
hers
also
is
going to
older.
ask you.
So they should've
You
put
said
a
that you
report on
liked
that.
when we put print ads.
Everybody has the air.
Yeah,
Can I put that towards the conclusion? Like, here's some examples
your
of
third
how they
main
Yeah, I like the
advertise.
color.
Yeah.
The only thing is like I can't
I'm
listen to
assuming
keyboard
that's what
'cause
you're
I'm
doing
like,
for your
oh,
third
my
main
keyboard.
point is you're looking at a current print and
Yeah,
understanding
I
here's
like-
what they've
I
done.
actually like
They've
that.
used a principle of liking. They've used a principle of reciprocity.
So I should put one printout and maybe Google Samsung NASA
No, no, no,
because I
not this
wanted
one,
to
this
mention
one's flat.
too that they are the luxurious companies that we target to.
Yeah.
They are the ones that
Oh,
tell us
okay.
you should like it, we like it, therefore you
Correct.
might like it.
We can say like in the class,
Sorry,
Google,
what was that?
Google and Samsung, do those sound like authoritative companies? I'm not sure you read. Yeah, so what they're doing is our company is associating themselves with
You see, I got-
them
you know what, I got
because
nieces
when
and
people
nephews,
know that
sometimes,
they
like, I'll be
trust our
careless
company,
by
that means you
accident,
should
and they'll
too.
just be like,
Mhm.
And that is authority.
you know?
I see. And so I could
My mom
put
got,
print
like, a
ad
little
and I could
keyboard
put the
thing.
soundtrack, right?
Yep, just
So that's great.
keep in mind for the sake of time, that last main point, I'm only asking for at least one thing. So if you have to cut stuff down, you could do it in that one.
You know that's not
First
his,
one
right?
that Claire did,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
asking
his,
for
right?
minimum
Yeah,
of
no,
2
that was
features
his
and 2
second.
benefits. But
She runs through it pretty quick.
Okay.
Because it's such
You want me to
a.
use the bathroom quick? Just let me
I know that people are
when
gonna
I'm
ask us
If you need
anyway in the
anything.
Q&A, like, tell me more about the features, tell me more about the benefits. So she quickly sums it all together
Okay,
because one thing connects to the other.
okay. Yeah, I didn't talk about forgiving.
So when it comes to transitioning to the conclusion, this is what Camille, I'll be mentioning her part. She says, we have learned that the features and benefits from Claire, that sleep pods are unique in their design, providing comfort and relaxation to its users by relaxing their lower back muscles. It's private and customizable, making for a private and unique experience for each individual. We have learned from Rose and Sarit that enabling them to be more alert during class, which causes from a better pay attention. See,
Which causes
she
them
didn't know
to
how to.
A. That's fine, yes.
She doesn't know what our part was. This is when we were first doing the outline. We were connecting it to the students. We weren't connecting it to the brand.
Okay.
So this, if she was here, she would have known that. That's okay. We're gonna fill her in. Then it says restate and connect the 3 main points with a relevant statement.
briefly restate how this may help successful in Baruch students, as well as in the near future, with stating some of the features one last time. Sleep pods are comfortable and private. We now know how the integration of sleep pods, more energy pods, can affect students at Baruch College. We can be
Okay,
high-performing college students.
That's your close with impact. So where is your call to action?
Is French required?
You in the beginning you said about signing a petition, right?
Yeah, that's how we're gonna finish off and then go into the Q&A. We'd like for you guys to answer this petition, and if you don't mind, I took a picture of some of the students' names. What I'm gonna do to make it easier, because nobody wants to write their email and everything, on the top I'm gonna say, while checking off yes or no on your names, I'm gonna put all their names, check box yes if you're interested, no if you're not, and then fine print I'm gonna say, this allows us to get contact information to then email you and inform you guys on.
Yeah, I can't give that information to you, so if they want to give you the
No,
emails, they
like
can.
hypothetically
Oh, good.
speaking.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
sounds
telling them. Check
very
it off.
efficient.
If we can go to the professor or like to you guys in general.
Yeah, you can't go to
ask.
me, you have to go to them. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
go to you
Sounds
guys.
good. Very efficient.
JC goes.
Good, good, good.
I was like, yo, we knew that.
You're so nervous.
Yeah,
Now you have
but
too
man,
much information. You just don't know how, because you're telling us to get straight to the point.
Yeah, correct. You got to comb through this. I think you might have too much information. So just go with the rubric, and you see, that, like I said, for your last main point, you only need one, at least one thing, maybe two, probably two. But to get the point, you need one.
I remember you also mentioning how you want us to talk about the logo
I wish I
itself.
was full semester.
Yeah, that would be a
I
nice
know,
one too.
Yeah,
I feel
so
like I got
should
more out of
you
it,
liked
yeah.
us when we took apart Metro and Maps for the metropolitan area? It's a busy city. Everybody's always commuting. We're also trying to emphasize on the stress because of commuting, because of long hours in school. How do we combine the two?
You got to do what they actually do. What does MetroNet actually do?
Well,
That's what you're trying to talk about the
they
brain.
emphasize energy at work, not energy at school.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well,
Accounting is hard. Finance
Does
is
it work?
hard, but not as much.
What's
as
an average work day?
accounting.
8 hours? What's your average work day
Huh?
here? God, I'm here teaching for 5.5 hours straight and then grading for, yeah.
It's
the same thing.
Cost
It's just a
accounting
different name.
Makes or
We're
breaks.
a work rate.
Like the average in the class.
And when
is
people
30.
start to ask us, like, hey, how is it going to work when we actually do implement this, say we all agree to this, and somehow our tuitions align and we can afford these.
You're petitioning Baruch to allocate money to be able to get
My
some of
thing
these
is,
for us.
accounting is really not that hard.
I don't want people to start
It's
like,
just
playing
that-
devil's advocate and challenging us.
Finance,
Because
accounting,
this is
they
something
make it
that
extremely
obviously is
hard. 'Cause I took
hypothetically
accounting
speaking
at a
for
community
now.
college,
Right.
and it was so much
Um,
easier. You
so
know, my
I
You're,
want
you're
to
just
ask-
petitioning, you're trying to get the students as
They're trying to
students
compete
of
on a
Baruch, you're
high
trying to get them
level
to
with
petition
Columbia
the
and
college
those
to spend
people.
some money to get
So
a few
a
of
lot
these.
of times
So that it's available
they're trying
to
to
the
create on
student
the
body.
curve. You know, like on top of that, I think
Do you know what the cost is?
They don't
Yeah,
have much
it's,
resources.
well, since they
on top of
have
that, your package is
connected
only
to
different
the company
classes.
Piziz,
It all depends.
which
There's so many
is
different factors. but-
letting them have the
Like my
soundtracks in
friend,
it.
she
They've
came
been
from-
updating it
not my
every
friend,
year.
my friend's from,
Now
she
they
came
go
from,
from 12,000 to
NASA
14.
with us. She had
Hundred.
was
Yeah,
a
students
she
are going to be
came
buying
in.
this. We need the organization to buy them for the
Then
students.
all of a sudden
There's
she
also an
transferred to
example
Oxford.
of
She's an A student back
the Health
then, and now
Federation.
she's
They've
a
actually
kid.
funded it
You
for
know,
mental
big
health
difference. And she said she
sakes
knows
of high
everything.
school
At
students.
Baruch,
That
I
was
I
part
know
of the
shit
clip
finance.
in the news that we were reading about.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. You got, well, that becomes an
You know what I mean?
authoritative
So
field.
now I'm like,
If
wow,
they,
it's kinda
if the
crazy.
school districts are doing this already
You know?
for the younger students, why aren't we doing it here? That's consensus. Everybody else is doing it, so why aren't we?
Yo,
Okay, great.
We got a lot you can work with. It's going to be cutting it down.
listen.
Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Professor.
12 to 15 minutes is your time frame, just like it says.
Thank you. We'll
You're
try.
gonna do great. Most people historically have gotten A's, not because I give them A's, but because they've earned their A's. Once in a while, a few groups don't organize it well, and they screw things up with time, and sometimes don't get to their conclusions. And those are usually the low B's and C's. But most people get
Then they
A's.
had their own application.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your lunch.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna try to
You're gonna hang
communicate it.
still?
They said we was
I'm actually gonna go back and see
Tell
within
Rose
what
I
I
said hi.
yeah
Who
I'll
else is
see
there?
if just Rose.
Just Rose.
Claire is I don't know out of the country.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
Whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, we didn't really ask, but she did her part.
It was.
I guess we'll just add the soundtrack to hers.
Yeah. Whatever. That works.